Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08 and welcome to the 16th episode of my second 1 billion iron ingot challenge. In today's episode, I am going to build a NuclearCraft reactor to provide some energy for my new base. As you may or may not notice, I am at my old base, and one thing I have built off camera that I should probably show you, it's pretty simple, is a way to get wool. Basically what I have is a fence with sheep and a machine called an animal rancher, and what this thing does is it just shears the sheep as they get wool, and it puts it in this chest right here. Now it has been able to get me quite a bit of wool, so let's actually take a look at how much wool I have. I have over 5,000 wool now thanks to that little contraption. It's only been running for about a day or so, but that should definitely be enough for what I will need in the future, so that's awesome. So the next thing I need to do is I need to make some conduit binder, and that's because I'm going to be using some ME conduit from the mod Ender.io to complement the covered cables that I'm going to be using from the mod Applied Energistics. It's just a cleaner way to make some of my cabling. So let's go ahead and make some of this conduit binder. It is made by gravel, clay, and sand in a recipe like this. So I'm going to grab some of this. I'm not going to grab too much of it because each one of these conduit binder composites actually smelts down into 2 conduit binders, which is obviously pretty excellent for me. So let's go ahead and over here and throw it into a furnace, and that is going. So let's actually work on some other stuff. Let's work on tough alloy. Now I've already made some of this off camera, but I should probably go ahead and show you exactly how I can do this. So I have been using the smelter here. I could also use an alloy smelter from Ender.io, but I've been using the smelter because I have one. I also have an alloy smelter at this point. I put it right back here, but I've been using the smelter mostly. So let's actually go over the recipe. So to make this, I've been smelting some ferroboron with lithium, but to get ferroboron, I've been also using the smeltery with steel and boron. So let's go ahead and get some, I think 4 ingots of steel. Let's go with, what? Oh, whoops. No, I want 2 ingots of steel, 1 boron ore, and then what? Something like 2 lithium ore, I think. I think that's what I will need. And then if I throw this in the smeltery over here, I should, if I've got my ratios right, I should get some of this tough alloy, which I will need for quite a few of the things in the mod NuclearCraft. I will need it for the, actually, let's just go ahead and look. Let's look at the reactor. It would be the I need the fission reactor casing, which does use a little tough alloy, not a whole lot, thankfully, because tough alloy is a little bit expensive. And then for the fission controller, if I look it up right here, fission controller definitely uses some. The nuclear furnaces use some. The advanced plating uses some, and oh yeah, these magnesium diboride solenoids also use some. I have crafted up some of this alloy, so I'm not gonna worry about doing this on camera. It's just magnesium and boron. I've also used the smeltery for that. So this stuff is still taking, oh shoot, I know what happened here. I still have this timer on from when I was casting it, so I'm gonna have to resmelt down the steel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait on all this stuff to smelt down, and hopefully it provides me with tough alloy. If not, I just probably got the ratios wrong. But I'll be back when all this is into its tough alloy form. Okay, so everything is melted and looks like I got the ratios right, which is fantastic. I've just been using this timer. I did set it to a custom amount of time, but anyways, so yeah, that's how I've been casting the tough alloy. I already have a bunch of it over here, so I'm not going to worry about gathering up those 8 ingots of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start making stuff. So first off, I need a fission controller, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll need a machine chassis. We'll need some of these nuclear furnaces here. And for the basic plating, it's pretty simple. I need some graphite dust and some lead. I actually should probably work on some graphite dust. So I need, let's see if I actually have any. I might have a little bit. I do not. So I need to grab some coal to make graphite dust. I need to smelt it and then pulverize it. So let's go over here to my furnaces. Let's put in the first half of it into this furnace. We'll put the second half of it into this furnace. Oh, okay, so that is done. That just finished up then. So let's grab my conduit binder while we're here. We'll also grab a few of the first graphite ingots. We will pulverize this up. I don't know how much graphite I'm going to need, but I don't think it'll need a whole lot. I could be totally wrong about that, but I'm making a bunch of it just in case. I know I'll use it in the future. So let's go back to the fission controller. Let's see where we can go from here. The advanced plating. For the basic plating here, okay, I am going to need a lot of this. I take that back because I need it for the reactor cell walls or the fission reactor casing. My bad. So we'll need a recipe like that. Okay, we got some graphite dust now. Not a whole lot, but we can make some of this basic plating as much as we can anyways. So let's continue on this. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot more of it than that. Anyways, so we can make a couple of these furnaces here. So that's that. We have the machine chassis and the furnace. Let's see if we can't make these guys. Okay, I only needed 2 of those, but whatever. So next up, we'll need to make some of this advanced plating. I need more graphite, so let's get some of that real fast. We'll put half of it over here and then the other half over here. I really kind of bungled this. I should have had this, I should have had the graphite dust ready. But that's okay. We'll make do. And pretty soon I'll have more than enough. But anyways, here's some more of this basic plating. And then we can make these advanced plates right here. I need 4 of these. Fantastic. And then we can go ahead and make the fission controller. This is the brains of the operation, so I'm pretty happy about that. Let's go ahead and start to make, let's see, what else will I need? I will need some of the coolers for the interior. And let's see if I can't go ahead and make some of those. So first off, I'm going to start off with some empty coolers. I do have quite a bit of steel cast up as well. I obviously have a lot of tough ingots or tough alloy as well. So let's see. I don't want to use all my tough alloy here. Let's go ahead and use that much. Hopefully I won't need any more coolers than that. And let's see what kind of coolers we might be able to make. Because I'm going to be kind of limited at this point in what I can do. I'm not going to be able to use cryothium. I'm not going to be... Actually, I could use Enderium. And you know what? I'm going to. Because... Okay, I must not have my Enderium over here. That's okay. I have some over here, and I know I have a decent amount. So I need... Or I can use 8 of those coolers. So let's grab... What's 8 times 8? I need 64. 64 Enderium ingots. Cool. And I still have plenty left over. And then let's go ahead and do this. So now we have 8 of those. Let's go ahead and grab my other coolers back. And let's check up on my graphite situation. There we go. And then we can just shove it in here. Okay, so I'll need a lot more of this basic plating, so... Let's get this recipe dialed up. Obviously, I have a lot of lead. And I'm going to need a lot of this fission reactor casing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera because it's going to take me a while for me to get enough of this graphite already so that I can actually make a decent sized reactor. So I'm just going to wait off camera, and once I have a bunch of this fission reactor casing made, I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I think I have enough of the fission reactor casings to make a decent sized reactor. It's not going to be huge or anything, but it should be a decent sized reactor. But anyways, I want to do a few more things before I actually build the reactor itself. And the first thing is I would like to build some capacitors. And this will kind of be the basis for the energy system of my new base. First, I'm going to use basic capacitors. Eventually, I will replace them with vibrant capacitor banks, but that's not really feasible at this point. But the first thing I want to do is I want to build 128 of these guys, which means I need to build a bunch of this stuff. First off, I will need to build 2 stacks of painted or a block of redstones. So now that I have that done, let's go ahead and make 8 stacks of these guys. So I'm going to need a lot of gold. So let me grab a couple stacks of gold here, and it's actually easier if I just go over here and do this. So I think that'll be enough gold for that. So let's actually go back over here, and then I should, I think, have enough grains of infinity to pull this off. So I need 8 stacks of these guys, and I actually think I'm going to be short on gold. So let's grab some more gold, and then do this again. And then we should have enough. Okay, so that's, I need what, 18 more? There we go, that should be enough. So let's go back, let's build our capacitor out, or our capacitors. And then 2 stacks, perfect. So what I'm going to do with these guys are, let's take them over here to my new base. Let's actually, I should have grabbed some elevators, and I did not. But that's okay. So where these capacitors are going to go is they are going to go under the street, right down the middle of my, right under the middle of my street here. And actually, for right now, I'm not actually going to connect them up in the middle. I will eventually, but as I don't have elevators installed yet, I am not going to do that quite yet. In fact, I can do that real soon, though, so let's actually get rid of that. Let's get rid of that as well, and then I think there's one over here. Okay, so one thing I do need to do is where these things meet up with the ME controller, they need to be output. So thankfully the GUI is pretty easy to use here. When you get an exceptionally large capacitor, which this will eventually be one gigantic capacitor running throughout the underground of my base, it will be a little bit more complicated to do this. And actually it's a lot easier to just use a wrench or a crescent hammer. But for right now we can go ahead and do this way. So this will output energy to the ME controller once we get some power into it, obviously. So that'll be fantastic. Let's go ahead and get a couple elevators real fast. So elevators are pretty simple to make. They are made with wool around ender pearls. Obviously I have lots of ender pearls, just not over here. So let's go back, let's grab some ender pearls, and then we can make some elevators. Okay, so 16 should be enough, at least for right now. And then we can go ahead, and actually looks like I've made way more capacitors than I really need. But that's okay for right now. So elevators work pretty easily. They you jump or hit shift. Jump if you want to go up, hit shift if you want to go down. So let's go ahead and put this torch back. Let's eat. And then we can go ahead and place a capacitor block right here to connect all that up. So now we have one large capacitor that has a max input of 48,000 RF per tick and a max output of 48,000 RF per tick. If we jump, we go up. We shift, we go down. Fantastic. Elevators. So let's go ahead, and I actually need to make some more tough alloy off camera because apparently I don't have enough. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, and then when I come back we can start building that fission reactor. So yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so I think I have enough tough alloy to get started. So the next thing I need to make is actually the reactor cells themselves, or where the fuel will be stored as the reaction actually occurs. So the recipe is like this: is tough alloy and some glass. I actually think I need to go get some glass from my new base, so let's go ahead and do that real fast. So here we are, here's some glass, and let's take up that much. So we just have a little bit of glass left, not a whole lot, but glass is pretty cheap, so if I need to make more glass, I can make more glass in the future, not a big deal. Anyways, let's try to make as many of those as we can. So right now, it's not a whole lot, it's 45. I think we should be able to work with that for today's episode anyways, because my reactor doesn't need to be huge or anything. The next thing is, let's go ahead and... actually, I need a few more things. So I made a few machines off camera. I made a redstone furnace and a sequential fabricator. I also need to make an isotope separator. And if I can spell that right, I made these machines on camera before, so I went ahead and made them off camera. So an isotope separator is a NuclearCraft machine that will separate certain materials into different isotopes. For example, thorium can be separated into thorium-230 and thorium-232. So this is what I'm going to be using for that, because I will need to use an isotope separator. So let's go ahead and see if we can't make all of this other stuff. I think I need 2 of those. So the rest of it's pretty fundamental, actually. There we go. So there we go, isotope separator that also uses RF, so that's not a big deal. We will have some RF to play with. So in addition, I made some vibrant alloy off camera, and I should go through the recipe real fast for that. Vibrant alloy will allow me to make some awesome energy conduits, but I made that with the alloy furnace that is behind me. I could also use the Tinker's Construct smeltery to do that, but I use the alloy smeltery. It is energetic alloy with ender pearls, and to make energetic alloy you need to have a smeltery, or you can once again use the Tinker's Construct smeltery. It is redstone, gold, and glowstone all in equal parts. So it's not too bad of a recipe, a little bit expensive as far as maybe gold and glowstone goes, but I have plenty of that. So what I'm going to do with that vibrant alloy is I'm actually going to make some conduit here, and let's see if I can't find that real fast. Not the fluid conduit, I need the ender energy conduit. So I shouldn't need too much of this. Let's go ahead and get 32. That should be more than enough. I will also need to make some item conduit, which I don't have the pulsating ingots for yet. So let's look at this recipe. So to get pulsating iron, I will need an induction smelter, or an alloy smeltery, or the Tinker's Construct smeltery. So it's iron and ender pearls and equal. So let's get 16 iron ingots. I don't need a whole lot of this stuff. And let's get some ender pearls. I don't think I have any over here. No, I don't. That's unfortunate. So once I have everything consolidated into my new base, this will be a lot more convenient to actually build stuff. But for right now, it's kind of a hassle, as you can probably see, because I have some stuff over here and I have some stuff over there. So let's go ahead and use this induction smelter with the ender pearls and iron ingots. That'll get us pulsating iron. And to make the item conduits, it actually doesn't take very much at all of the pulsating iron. It is actually just the little nuggets here, which you can make 9 of them with each ingot. So I actually probably only need 1 or 2 ingots. So that's fantastic. Let's go ahead and make this recipe. And then I just need the binder here. And there we go. And I shouldn't need more than 32. If I need more, I would be completely surprised. So I have some tough alloy up over here if I need more of that, so that's cool. And I have a bunch of empty coolers, and they are right here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put them back into the applied energistic system. I don't want to actually finish them out yet because I'm not sure exactly what my design is going to be for my reactor, so I'm not going to go that far. Right now, I need to grab an export bus, so let's do that. I will need to export some thorium ore into a pulverizer, actually, so I need to grab a pulverizer. Totally forgot about that. I think I can pulverize thorium. Let me double check this because I'm not really super sure I can. Thorium ore, pulverizer. Yeah, okay, so I can. So I definitely need to make a pulverizer because I do want to get the most out of my thorium. So first off, let's make some copper gears. Whoops, wrong recipe. Let's make some of those. I never have any wood laying around, and I don't know why. Fantastic. There's a pulverizer. Definitely will need that. Do I get any secondary outputs from pulverizing thorium? I don't think I do, but I should definitely check because if I do, I need to deal with the secondary outputs in some form or fashion. There is no secondary outputs, and that's great. I will need to deal with a secondary output from the isotope separator, though. And let's go back to thorium real fast. I need the thorium ingots is what I'm going to be getting from the redstone furnace. Once I run them through an isotope separator, let me see if I can't find that right here. I will get this tiny clump of thorium-230, which will be a byproduct that I don't need. So I need to store that or get rid of it somehow. I think I'm going to store it because it can be useful in some situations. So what I'm going to build is a black hole unit. And it's not too difficult to build. It requires 2 chests, a machine frame here, some Eyes of Ender, but that's not a big problem if I can grab some ender pearls and some blaze powder from over here, because apparently I don't have any over there. So blaze powder. Let's go ahead and grab some more ender pearls. More than we need anyways, because apparently I need them more often than I think over at my old base. So to make Eyes of Ender, pretty simple recipe. You probably know this. So I probably need plastic as well. Poop. Yeah, I do. And I'm not sure if I can use that chest. Let's go ahead and make some regular chests like that. Okay, so I just need plastic. Completely forgot about that. I don't have a whole lot of plastic, to be honest. But I do have some. Let's go ahead and grab a half stack. And then plastic. And black hole units are really nice because they hold almost infinite amount of a singular type of item. So that'll be used to hold the thorium-230. I kind of think that's all I need for right now. You know what? I'm going to grab some more vibrant energy conduits because I'm thinking about how I'm going to build this, and I might need a little bit more of this than I think. So I'm going to go ahead and grab more of that. So I need the conduit binder now. And I'm just going to do that. So that should be more than enough. Let's go ahead and zip on over here. And this building over here is going to be where I'm going to house my reactor. Let's go ahead and put the reactor. Oh shoot, I didn't actually grab the reactor parts. Whoops. They're all in a modular storage unit, which is right here. So let's grab that. All of the parts except for the coolers, that is. Because I'm not exactly sure what kind of design I'm going to be using. So we can just go ahead and slap this off to the side somewhere. Let's go ahead and grab, yeah, we can go ahead and grab everything apparently. And then the controller, let's go ahead and put it right here. And I actually need to dig out the spot underneath it. I'm going to need to run some conduit. I know I'm going to have some energy conduit coming off this thing, and I'm also going to need some item conduit coming off of it. So let's start building the actual reactor itself. I should have grabbed a wand, but I can probably make one over here. I did not mean to do that. Okay, so I don't need to make this thing too big for right now. I will definitely increase its size in the future, but for right now, let's go with 9 by 9 by, I don't know, 5 or so. I don't know how high I want to make it. You know what? Actually, that's probably even too big still. So let's grab a wand because this will be super useful in building this reactor. Like I said, this is probably too big. Let's go 7 by 7 by, I don't know, 5 or something. Because I don't have too many of the fission reactor casings. Okay, so let's change this mode. I think... Okay, there we go. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this reactor isn't going to be centered in this room, at least not right now. I will definitely make this reactor bigger in the future, but for right now, don't really care. So the next thing is we need to build up. And just use some placeholder blocks. Okay, okay, there we go. Now we can build up a little bit. I think I'm going to go 5 high if I can. So I'm going to change the mode key again. I want this to wrap all the way around like that. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can go ahead and put a roof on this bad boy. Whoops. Let's get our wand back, and then apparently let's try to kill ourselves. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and get rid of all this cobblestone that's not needed. Fantastic. And it is a valid reactor design, as we see right here. If the text was in red, then it would not be valid. So that is awesome. Now we can dig in here and we can build some sort of a reactor design. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have just 4 fuel rods, and they'll be in a design like this. And this reactor is not going to provide a whole lot of power, but that's completely okay. I just need it to work. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use redstone and lapis coolers if I can. And you know what? It would have been better if I would have built this as a 5 by 5 by 5 reactor. You know what? I'm going to not build them there. I'm going to build the other fuel rods like over here. So let's go ahead and get those. And let's build them out as far as we can for right now. So obviously this cobblestone is not needed. And then now that I know where my fuel rods are going to be, I can start to make some of the coolers. So I need some lapis coolers. For each of the reactor cells, they will have at least 1 lapis cooler. Lapis coolers can go... They have to touch 1 reactor fuel cell and then reactor casing. So let's see here. Pretty simple recipe. So I will need what? I have 20 reactor cells, but I also need end caps so for each of them. So I'll need, I think, 28 lapis coolers. Let's go back and make those. And then also make some of the other coolers. I think I'm going to use redstone in addition to lapis. So I need a bunch of lapis blocks here. Let's go with 2 stacks. That should be enough for right now. Let's find the lapis cooler if we can. Should be somewhere around here. There it is. So I need, what I say, 28 of these guys. That should be the perfect amount. Let's actually get rid of some of the... I did not want to do that. Want to get rid of the reactor casing, but the capacitors look almost identical. So let's also make some redstone coolers. You know what, let's just type in cooler. And I think that's the only other type of cooler I'm going to use, at least for right now. This reactor is definitely not going to be a high power reactor or anything, but that's completely okay. I just need kind of a starter reactor. And I actually probably need fewer of these. I can probably get away with... You know what, I'm just going to build 30 of them. I don't think I need that many, but I'm going to build 30 just because I can. So the fuel I think I'm going to be using is... And I've just changed this in my mind because I know this reactor is going to have a little excess cooling because it's not going to make a whole lot of heat. I think I'm going to go with uranium fuel. So I can just, instead of thorium, I thought I was going to do thorium, but uranium fuel provides just a little bit more power, a little bit more heat. So if we actually look at, you know what, let's just go to NuclearCraft. If we go to TBU fuel is really easy. You know what? No, I'm going to use TBU fuel because uranium fuel is a little bit more complicated to make. TBU fuel is just thorium-232. It's really easy to make. I was thinking about using LEU-235 fuel, but that would necessitate making both uranium-235 and uranium-238. I'm not all about that, so let's just use thorium for right now. So I need to grab that. Okay, so I think I have everything I need to complete this reactor. Okay, so the lapis goes in between, anywhere there's a block space in between the reactor cells and the reactor cell walls, or the fission reactor casing, that is. Actually, I definitely can use more redstone than I built. Whoops. And I did not mean to place that back there. Okay, so that's nice. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my old base real fast. I'm going to grab some more of these redstone coolers because I can use more of them. And once I do that, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I grabbed more redstone coolers and I actually went ahead and placed those down. The rules for those is they just have to touch one reactor cell. And you know what? I completely forgot to place my Enderium blocks, but that's not a problem because I can access all of the corners. I think I still can. Yes, I can. So these just have to touch 3 fission reactor casings, which means they essentially have to go in the corners of the reactor if you're going to use them at all. So let's go ahead and seal this reactor up real fast. And then we should see that it has a decent amount of cooling because we haven't put in fuel yet. The next thing is I need to find a way to make fuel. Actually, the next thing is I'm going to put in some elevators, and I actually have places for them. So I'm just going to put elevators in the corners of this room, this basement, and the room above. And I totally didn't even mention this building has a basement. Surprise! So essentially I need to get the energy out of the fission controller from below, and that will go, and we can just do this. And we need this to be an input. So I'm just going to shift click right here. Whoops. Okay, so the energy will flow out of the reactor into the capacitor out there. And then I think I'm just going to put my machines kind of willy-nilly over here for right now. In the future, I'm definitely going to move them, but for right now, whatever. I don't really care. I just want to get this thing running today. So the next thing I need to do is I need to connect up with my applied energistic system. So let's actually go down in the basement here and run a cable this way. I don't need to run it too far. I think I'm just going to pop it out right here into my basement because I need to export thorium. And I actually should have done the corner, but that's okay. I'll probably go ahead and fix that off camera at some point. So I just want to export this into, let's see, which machine? The pulverizer. That's the first machine here. And then we'll set this pulverizer out to be input from the top, output to the left. There is no secondary output, so I don't need to worry about that. Next machine is the redstone furnace that will furnace the thorium dust into thorium ingots. That will output to the left. To the isotope separator, which will need to output in 2 different directions. One of them can be right here, so we can take our item conduit, set it up to extract only from here, and I actually need filters. No, I don't. If I do this right, I won't need filters. And so I'm actually going to change how I have this. I am going to put the black hole unit above, but I'm not going to do that quite. Actually, you know what? Yes, I am. We're going to have item conduit right here. Normally, I would need to... Oh, whoops. You know what? Let's actually wrap this around. So normally, I would use a filter, but for right now, I'm not going to because I don't have filters made, and I can get around needing a filter. So, you know what? Whatever. I'm going to try it. So then we are going to output to the top. And I actually need to wrench that, but that's okay. Okay, so I need to separate those two lines. So this will be extract always on. This will be insert. This will be extract always on. This needs to be insert. Oh shoot, this doesn't have a remember button. I'm going to replace this with a crafter. Essentially, they do the same thing. They are just slightly different mechanisms to do so. So let's get a crafter if we can. And crafters are pretty simple to make. Okay, so we can get rid of that sequential fabricator. So let's try this. Insert, extract. Okay, I needed the remember button is what I needed. Otherwise, this would not work. I would need filters. Okay, so I need to export thorium, and I need some sort of energy for these guys. So in fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dig this up real fast, make a mess, and run some of this ender energy conduit. It'll just run down here, and it will run over this way. And actually, I don't want it to run off of this line over here, so I'm actually going to punch it through the wall over here. So you know what? Let's just make a mess of things even worse than they are. Let's do that. I can definitely clean this up, and I probably will off camera, but for right now, I don't care. I just want to get this thing running. So I need to output that capacitor, and there we go. So did I must have left my lever on over there. Yeah, I did. Let's actually shut that off for right now. And you know what? No, I need to make an energy cell or something. Because I need some power to kickstart this thing. You know what? No. I have an energy cell right down here. So I'm going to steal this thing. And I'm going to put it right here because I just simply need to jump this system. So let's output there. So we have some thorium. Okay, why are we not getting power? Oh, it's because it doesn't have a redstone signal. There. Now we should be getting power to these guys. In addition, I need to make a lever real fast because I will need some sort of way to turn the reactor on. It needs a redstone signal to turn on, so let's go ahead and put a lever up here. Okay, so thorium dust, it's being separated, and apparently that's really slow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for some of this thorium to separate out real fast. That'll take a little bit because apparently it's pretty slow. I might look into making some speed upgrades, but anyways, for right now, I'm just going to wait. So once some of the thorium is made, I will be right back. Okay, so I have some thorium over here, and I realized I don't actually need the crafter over here. I could have used the sequential fabricator, because one thing I can do is I can set a positive priority on the black hole unit. And then what I can do is I can throw in the tiny clump of thorium, maybe, at some point. Okay, so something's being wonky, but that's okay. I don't know why, like, it should be allowing me to pull that out, but it's not. Okay, why is that being... This is being weird. I'm not really sure why it's being weird. But what I should be able to do is put this down, fill it with tiny clump of thorium 230, and then set it as a positive priority. And then all the tiny clumps of thorium 230 should go over there, and all of the thorium 232 should come over here. So now what I need to do is I need to set the recipe. The recipe is pretty simple. It's just that right there. I am going to go ahead and use the remember button though, just in case. Might as well. And then we can just hit apply. It should make the TBU fuel. It should be able to extract, and then I did not set this up correctly, but thorium should come over here. As we can see, this reactor does not make a whole lot of power, but 3,120 RF per tick should be okay for right now. And one thing I definitely could do is I definitely could add more fuel cells, and I probably will, to be honest. But okay, as we can see right now, nothing going right here. Yeah, obviously this is not on, but once I turn the reactor on, everything should fire up. And hopefully this won't run through fuel too quickly. Thorium space time is 120 minutes. We have 20 cells, so this should last, 6 minutes? Each thorium should last 6 minutes, which is pretty good, I think, so that's good. And then this system should be able to be on all the time because now it has power. Fantastic. So I think this is a good wrapping up point. I know this episode definitely ran a little long. Let's see if... But, sorry about that. Hopefully it was worth it. Anyways, I did decide to use speed upgrades on this thing. Speed upgrades just make the machine use quite a bit more RF per tick. In this case, it's 660. These machines use, I think, 20 RF per tick, so that's 700 RF per tick plus whatever this uses. I don't think this uses a whole lot, and it only uses as it's crafting. So I've got 700 RF per tick, give or take draw, and then the image system, I think, is around 300 RF per tick draw. So I should have about 2,000 RF per tick spare from this reactor. So obviously that's a good thing. Yeah, anyways. In today's episode, I built this NuclearCraft fission reactor. It doesn't produce a whole lot of power, but it's more than enough for this system over here to run everything that I have going right now. In the future, I will clean this up a little bit because right now it's ugly and I just made things work. I didn't worry about aesthetics in this episode, but anyways, I'm using TBU fuel from thorium, and it is pretty efficient fuel. Each fuel cell should last 6 minutes by my calculation. So the thorium I have over here should last quite a while. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's episode, definitely give it a like. If you like watching automation in modded Minecraft, definitely consider subscribing to my channel because that's kind of what I do. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.